See, I got just that little piece of the material over the hook. So, totally weedless right now. I've got, I love these Nikko Leeches. They're great. But this is a color I've never fished called Bayou Sunset. And I've got a Texas rigged on a weighted head. Now let's send this one back this way again. Hey, howdy True Northers. Your boy Corwin Scott here reporting for duty. And today I want to talk about the Nikko Leech and why I love it so much and how I rig it. And also share some of my favorite catches, multi-species catches on the Nikko Leech over the last couple of years. I think I've fallen as in love with the Leech as I have the Nikko Hellgrammite. And sorry, this room's such a mess. My middle daughter and I have been super sick the last couple of weeks, and this has been my infirmary. Anyway, here's Aurora. That's more of a white clear leech. Did really well in a creek last fall. I think that just imitated the bait fish they were feeding on. Morning Dawn, you know, kind of your purple color. These work great. I love this color they came out with last year. You'll see a bunch of footage coming up of that. I call this the Sharpie or the highlighter, but that's the black voltage. That's an aggressive color. I like that fluorescent tip there. And I forget what this one is. Anyway, there's a bunch of other colors too. So I'm gonna show you how I rig these. So here you've got the difference between, this is like a 1/0 and a 2/0, and you can see there's more length between the shank, between the 2/0 and the 1/0. If you go that way, then you got to use some sort of sinker to weigh it down. Here's an example of a Bass Pro version of a weighted head, and this exact hook. These are pretty inexpensive and I like them. They work well. They got quite a bit of flex in the hook though. This is rigged right here on that Nikko, on that Leech. And so I have that rigged narrow profile, but I'm going to show you how I like to rig mine sideways. So that's that hook right there on that bait. There's an Aurora. Again, that's just with a, that's with a 2/0 hook, but I like a fixed head. Now here's a big difference between like the Leech and the Hellgrammite. So this is a green pumpkin, and you can just see in the profile, you know, the Hellgrammite is great. The Leech is great also. It gives you about 1 inch more. And I just think the Leech is the perfect size. It's not too much, it's not too little. You know, you get into bass worms, you're going to add another at least 2 inches, sometimes 4 or 6 more inches. I just think this is the perfect size for most bass. Now, this Z-Man is great with the Hellgrammites, but I don't think it's big enough, the Z-Man Bullets Finesse, for the Leech. I find I miss more strikes because the bait's longer. Now this one already pre-rigged. I'll actually take this apart and I'll show you again. But I've done really well on this setup right here, really well. So I'm gonna rig it sideways. You can go flat. For example, like I showed you this one earlier, that's flat and that's just riding with a very narrow profile in the water. But, you know, sideways you're giving the fish a little more, you're giving them that to see from the side versus that. So a little wider profile. Because it's such a durable product, you got to work at it a little harder than your traditional plastic baits. So I want that collar to ride right there like that. Hopefully I don't get too nervous here. My big moment of glory. I'll tell you what, I'm 54 and my eyes just aren't they aren't what they used to be. So I'm gonna go down in there like that. And then I'm gonna twist it, flip it up over that collar. So now you see it's on that collar. And I want that to ride right like that. So I need to go in right there, straight through the middle if I can. Sometimes it's hard to get that just perfect, but I did all right. And then you can, that's exposed a little bit right now. You can let it ride back. See, I got just that little piece of the material over the hook. So totally weedless right now. And that's just gonna, you know, sit on the bottom. Kind of, you can drag the bottom with that, or you can hop it. But if a fish bites down, you know, boom. But if you just snag a little piece of that plastic over that hook, it's totally weedless. So there you go. That's probably my favorite way to rig the Leech. This I guess 2/0 size weighted round head. And like I said, I think this is a VMC, but I might have got this. This might be an off-brand that I got at a trade show as well. Don't know what it is. Fish love the Nikko Leech. I love fishing the Nikko Leech. And it's a special bait. Let me show you this here. You know, I don't know if you can really tell how beat up this one's getting. But I've had this Leech on this head for a year. I bet I've caught between 30 and 40 fish on that one. You know, they're just dynamite. The fish just can't destroy them, and they love them. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the stuff coming up here. These are some of my favorite catches the last couple of years. So yeah, kick back and enjoy a bunch of fish catching action, and thanks for coming along. I already got one. I think that's a rock bass. That's all right. I like rock bass. It's a big one. Oh, I don't think I've ever pulled a fish that far. Whoa, no way. He picked it up on the drop. Oh my gosh. That fish picked it up on the drop. I'm not even shaking yet.